Well, visiting the creepiest places on Earth might not sound like the ideal way to spend your vacation, but hear us out. Some of the world's most unsettling destinations are also the most fascinating, places where history, mystery, and a touch of the macabre collide. Our planet, unlike Mars or any other lifeless rock in space, has no shortage of terrifying and mysterious spots just waiting to test your nerve. From bone-chilling ruins to desolate landscapes that feel otherworldly, here are 15 terrifying places that might just make you question your sanity. Let's kick off things with number 15, Island of the Dolls, Mexico. Dolls are pretty creepy things. Well, not for most people, until you find yourself surrounded by hundreds of them, weathered by time, dangling from trees, and missing various limbs. Welcome to the Island of the Dolls in Xochimilco, Mexico, a place so unsettling that even horror movie directors would take notes. The story behind this eerie island makes it even worse. Decades ago, Julian Santabarrera, a hermit living on the island, discovered the body of a young girl floating in the canal. Stricken with guilt and convinced her spirit was haunting him, he began collecting discarded dolls to protect himself. But instead of calming the ghost, he ended up creating a scene straight out of your worst nightmares. These dolls, matted hair, hollow eyes, and all, peer at visitors like they know too much. You can hire a boat and cautiously approach, but don't say I didn't warn you. The dolls might not move, but they'll make you feel like they just might. Number 14, Kawah Ijen Volcano, Indonesia. The Kawah Ijen volcano in Indonesia is both mesmerizing and unnerving. This towering peak on Java Island emits sulfuric gases that combust at temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius, creating blue flames that snake down its slopes like lava from a fantasy novel. It's beautiful, if you can get past the fact that these flames are basically chemical fires caused by toxic fumes. The glowing blue phenomenon is only visible at night, but Kawah Ijen's dangers persist 24/7. The air around the volcano is thick with sulfur dioxide, a lung-piercing reminder that beauty often comes at a price. Its crater lake, meanwhile, is a striking green, thanks to hydrochloric acid saturating the water. Despite the risks, miners work here daily, chiseling chunks of sulfur from the treacherous terrain. For visitors, Kawah Ijen offers a Netflix-worthy experience, but one that might leave you questioning your decision to visit a place where even the air is trying to kill you. Number 13, Haw Par Villa, Singapore. Haw Par Villa is an 86-year-old theme park in Singapore, but don't expect roller coasters and cotton candy. Instead, this bizarre attraction greets you with more than 1,000 statues depicting scenes straight out of morality tales or nightmares. It's as if someone decided to combine a museum of folklore with a horror show and threw in a splash of whimsy for good measure. The main draw is the 10 Courts of Hell, where dioramas illustrate the gruesome punishments awaiting wrongdoers. Misuse a book, get sawed in half, cheat on an exam, prepare for dismemberment. The message is clear: don't sin or else. While it was intended as a tool to teach children about morality, it's hard to imagine kids leaving without a lifetime of vivid nightmares. Haw Par Villa is strange, unsettling, and oddly captivating, a unique stop for anyone willing to embrace its peculiar blend of history and horror. Number 12, Beelitz-Heilst&auml Hospital, Germany. The Beelitz-Heilst&auml Hospital complex just south of Berlin is a masterclass in eerie decay. Built in the late 19th century as a tuberculosis sanatorium, it became a key treatment center during both world wars. Among its more infamous patients, a young Adolf Hitler, recovering from a leg wound in World War I. Later, it served as a Soviet military hospital until the Cold War's end. Today, most of the complex lies abandoned. The psychiatric and surgical wards left to crumble are overrun by graffiti, peeling paint, and encroaching vines, creating an atmosphere straight out of a horror movie. Photographers and urban explorers are drawn to its haunting beauty, while others are simply drawn to its dark past. While parts of Beelitz-Heilst&auml are still used as a rehabilitation center, the majority stands as a decaying monument to history and a chilling reminder of its ghostly occupants. Number 11. Gomantong Caves, Malaysia. The Gomantong Caves in Malaysia are a marvel of nature, if you can get past the overwhelming stench of guano. This network of limestone caverns boasts ceilings that soar up to 300 feet, but the ground tells a different story. Covered in layers of bat droppings, the caves offer a sensory overload few are prepared for. Millions of bats call Gomantong home, and where there's guano, there are cockroaches. Many Malaysian cockroaches scurry across every surface, including your feet if you linger too long. And they're just the beginning. Snakes, scorpions, and giant poisonous centipedes also make their presence known. Despite its horrors, the caves are an important ecosystem and a hub for harvesting edible bird nests, a delicacy in the region. For the adventurous, Gomantong offers an unforgettable experience. For everyone else, it's a reason to admire nature from a safe distance. If you really care about your future, it's best to stay away from this cave. Number 10. Christ of the Abyss, Italy. The Christ of the Abyss statue, submerged off the coast of San Frutuoso, Italy, is hauntingly beautiful. This 8-foot-tall bronze figure was placed underwater in 1954 by Italian diver Duilio Marcante to honor his friend Dario Gonzatti, who had died while diving in the same spot. With outstretched arms and an upward gaze, the statue seems to offer both a blessing and a reminder of the dangers of the deep. Over the years, algae and corrosion have transformed the statue, giving it an otherworldly appearance. In 2003, it was temporarily removed for restoration, including the replacement of a missing hand lost to a rogue anchor. Today, it sits in about 55 feet of water, drawing divers from around the world. Whether you find it eerie, awe-inspiring, or a little bit of both, Christ of the Abyss is an unforgettable underwater experience, perfect for those who don't mind meeting their existential crises head-on. All right, guys, now let's move to Number 9. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. Life is a journey. It takes us through winding paths and unexpected turns, and if you're in Bolivia, then this road will send you to hell or heaven depending on your deeds, luck, and skill. You can take the idea of its reputation from the locals, as they call it, the Death Road or the Road of Fate. This 43-mile stretch of single-lane highway clings to the Andes Hills, reaching a dizzying elevation of over 15,000 feet. Below? Well, a sheer drop of 2,000 feet that's eager to welcome anyone who misjudges a turn. The road's infamy comes from its treacherous conditions. No guardrails, relentless fog, landslides, and waterfalls turning sections into slippery nightmares. For decades, it claimed hundreds of lives annually, as overloaded trucks and buses bravely, or foolishly, navigated its precarious hairpin bends. While modern routes have reduced its traffic, thrill seekers like you and us now flock here to bike down its perilous path. Well, you can call it adventurous or insane. Either way, the Death Road earns its name for a very solid reason. Number 8. Skeleton Coast, Namibia. The Skeleton Coast is where survival goes to die. Stretching from Angola to Namibia, this hostile strip of land is a graveyard for the unfortunate, be it shipwrecked sailors, animals, or even explorers with poor judgment. Its desolate beaches are littered with bones, whales, seals, and humans, all reminders of just how unforgiving this place is. The climate doesn't do anyone favors. Blistering winds whip across the barren landscape, temperatures swing between extremes, and there's no food or water to be found. It's not called the Skeleton Coast because it sounds poetic. It's because survival here is all but impossible. To make matters worse, travelers also face human dangers. Robbers and gangs patrol the area, turning a bad situation into a truly dire one. This isn't a destination for the faint-hearted or unprepared. It's a hostile frontier, more fitting as a warning than a place to explore. Well, we definitely don't want to go there. Number 7. Danakil Desert, Ethiopia. The Danakil Desert isn't just hot, it's unrelenting. Situated in East Africa, it's one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, where temperatures regularly surpass 122 degrees. The air feels thick, laced with toxic sulfur vapors, and the ground bubbles with lava and geysers, creating a landscape that looks more like another planet than Earth. For the brave or reckless few who visit, the risks are immediate. Prolonged exposure can wreak havoc on the body, and the constant volcanic activity adds an ever-present layer of unpredictability. It's a place where even a short stay feels like a test of endurance. This isn't a desert designed for tourism. It's a stark reminder of nature's raw, unyielding power. Between the searing heat and poisonous gases, it's no wonder the Danakil has earned its reputation as one of the most dangerous places in the world. Exploration here isn't a trip, it's a survival exercise. So guys, just watch videos on your phone. Number 6. Furnace Creek, USA. Where the sun shows no mercy, Furnace Creek sits in the heart of Death Valley, living up to its ominous name. It holds the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth, a blistering 134 degrees. Here, the air feels like a hairdryer set to incinerate, and even the landscape seems to wilt under the relentless sun. Dehydration and heat stroke are real threats, turning even short hikes into risky endeavors. For the unprepared, Furnace Creek isn't just uncomfortable, it's potentially deadly. Locals advise against visiting in the summer unless you enjoy sweating out your body weight in minutes. Despite its extreme conditions, Furnace Creek draws visitors with its otherworldly beauty. Stark salt flats, towering sand dunes, and rugged canyons make it a photographer's dream, assuming your camera doesn't melt. Spring is the best time to visit, but if you're tempted by summer, make peace with the sun first. Number 5. Fukushima, Japan. Fukushima, once a picturesque region of green hills and quaint fishing villages, is now a haunting reminder of nature's power and humanity's fragility. On March 11, 2011, a massive earthquake and tsunami triggered a nuclear meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, releasing radioactive materials into the environment and changing the region forever. Entire towns were evacuated, leaving ghostly remnants of everyday life frozen in time. Decontamination efforts continue, but the specter of radiation still lingers, making parts of Fukushima uninhabitable for the foreseeable future. The invisible danger of exposure ranges from nausea to long-term health risks like cancer, casting a long shadow over this once thriving area. While parts of Fukushima have been deemed safe for visitors, exploring this region requires careful planning and a strong stomach for its tragic history. It's a place where beauty masks scars that may never fully heal. Number 4. Mogadishu, Somalia. Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, has a rich history as a bustling trade center, but today it's better known for its challenges than its charm. Decades of political instability, high crime rates, and ongoing conflict have left deep scars on the city and its people. With a crime index of 72.61 out of 100, Mogadishu isn't for casual travelers or anyone who values personal safety. The risks here are real. Random gunfire, targeted attacks, and kidnappings make navigating the city a high-stakes gamble. Even locals exercise extreme caution, and tourists are strongly advised to stay away unless accompanied by reputable guides who understand the shifting dynamics of safety zones. Despite its hardships, Mogadishu remains a place of resilience, culture, and history. But unless you enjoy the adrenaline rush of dodging stray bullets or bargaining with pirates for souvenirs, admiring it from afar, like Google Earth, is probably your safest bet. Number 3. Amazon rainforest, South America. The Amazon rainforest is a lush, green paradise, or so it seems. Beneath its canopy lies a world that can quickly turn into a nightmare for the unprepared. With some of the deadliest creatures on Earth calling it home, the Amazon isn't just breathtaking, it's potentially life-ending. Here, giant anacondas slither through the rivers, while venomous snakes and jaguars lurk in the shadows. If those don't get you, malaria-carrying mosquitoes might. Add torrential rains, humidity that soaks you to the bone, and trails that can turn into muddy death traps, and you've got an ecosystem that doesn't exactly roll out the welcome mat. Despite the dangers, the Amazon's beauty is undeniable, and its biodiversity is unmatched. But for anyone planning a visit, a guide isn't just recommended, it's essential. Without one, this vibrant wilderness could quickly transform into a green tomb. Number 2. Veijo R&ouml Sculpture Garden, Finland. Veijo R&ouml's sculpture garden in Finland is equal parts artistic achievement and waking nightmare. Built in solitude by the eccentric folk artist, this garden features nearly 500 concrete statues, each more unsettling than the last. The centerpiece? 200 figures frozen in yoga poses, all supposedly self-portraits. The real creep factor lies in the details. Some statues grin with real human teeth embedded in their mouths, while others stare blankly with dark, sunken eyes. A few are strategically hidden, like the cloaked man with outstretched arms lurking behind a bush, because jump scares apparently weren't enough. R&ouml's refusal to showcase his art in public spaces only adds to the intrigue, turning his backyard into an eerie private gallery. For those brave enough to wander through, the garden offers a one-of-a-kind experience that's equal parts fascinating and deeply unsettling. Sleep might be hard to come by afterward. Number 1. Mount Huashan, China. It's hard to find any article or video about Mount Huashan without seeing headlines calling it the most dangerous hike in the world. And for good reason. This popular destination in central China is most famous for its terrifying plank walk, a narrow 12-inch wide wooden path bolted to the sheer side of the mountain, suspended thousands of feet above the ground. Visitors with nerves of steel inch along the pathway, holding on to shaky metal chains while watching their every step for missing or broken planks. The hike isn't for the faint of heart, but those who conquer it often say the breathtaking views and ancient temples at the summit are worth the risk. Of course, if dangling off the side of a mountain isn't your idea of a good time, you can opt for the far less harrowing cable car ride to the top. Either way, Mount Huashan won't disappoint. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.